welcome back to the Brandmerry podcast. Today's episode, we're going to talk about video marketing. We're going to talk about the different types of video, and we're going to have a short conversation on short form video and how you can use it in your business, because I get it, it is all the frickin' rage. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am loving these video podcasts, and I hope that you are too. So if you're listening in, just to give you a heads up, we now release video podcast episodes over on the YouTube channel. You can check it out, brandmerry.com/YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments if you are loving this new feature, because I'm having a lot of fun being on video again. Speaking of video, that is our topic today. Now, I gotta tell you, I believe that video marketing is one of the best brand builders available to small business owners and entrepreneurs. And I felt this way for a very long time. A little backstory, I actually started my marketing solely with video marketing. Back in the day, I started on Periscope, and just as I was really starting my entrepreneurial journey, Facebook Live was taking off. And so I really saw an opportunity there to create content that didn't take me a ton of time, because I could just, come up with a topic and ultimately go live, a way to engage with my existing audience. And then, like we talked about in last week's episode, I would repurpose that content over to my blog, social media, different places like that. What I didn't realize is A, how much I was going to love video marketing, and B, just how amazing it was going to freaking work. We started to really notice that the people who were tuning in, people who were ultimately buying from me, investing in a high level of coaching at the time, and later, of course, in my courses and my membership as I rolled those out. But video marketing is so powerful, and I think, it's in such a demand today because people want that connection. They want to see the person or the people behind the brand. We as consumers really love to consume video content, Typically it's quick, it's short, and if it's not, it's at least entertaining. And so while there's nothing wrong with podcasting, I love it too. I'm an avid podcast listener. Blogging, all of those things still work. I really do believe that every business needs to have some sort of video component. And that's what I wanted to share some more details about with you today, because we're all in the business of building brands here at Brandmerry, and I am here to give you the tools that you need to not only build your brand, but also get it seen and paid. And one of those ways is hands down video marketing. Now, fun fact, if you are new to Brandmerry, I went live every single Monday for almost 2 years, back in 2017, I believe, 2018. And it was a lot of video, and it's still available on the interwebs. If you want to go look at some of those old school videos, I think they're mostly on my Facebook channel. But that was such an amazing experience for me. And like I said, it really taught me so much about showing up, delivering value, engaging with my audience, and building those connections. And so that's the last thing that I want to say about the importance of video. It's not just about the exposure that we have and that, consumers enjoy it. And it's really honestly the direction that every brand needs to be going and embracing. But it's also a fantastic way to build relationships. And that is such a fundamental part of everything that we teach at Brandmerry, is all about the customer relationship that you are creating. The relationship that you're creating from that very first interaction to the sale, post-sale. And relationship building is so important, and nothing truly does it better than video, because immediately when you can see and hear someone, you get a feel for who they are as a person. You're starting to build that trust a lot faster. It's another reason that we love brand storytelling, which there are tons of resources on that, and I'm sure I'll have an episode coming out soon about brand storytelling as well. So now that you're hopefully sold on the idea of, video marketing, let's talk a little bit more about how you can ultimately use video marketing in your strategy. So I find that there are two ways to do it. One, you can either start with video. And this is ultimately like you're creating a YouTube video, you're creating a live video maybe on Instagram or Facebook. Maybe you create pre-recorded videos and you distribute them somewhere else, right? The core of your content is essentially video marketing. Or the second way that you can do it is that you create videos from a different type of core content, so repurposed video. So an example of this might be you have an audio only podcast and you pull audio clips and you create shorter form videos around that. Or you have a blog post and you pull pieces of that blog post and you create videos around that. Now, most of those videos are either going to be your audio, right? Or what we're going to talk about in a little bit, like a B-roll text overlay. Don't worry, I'm going to share how you can do all of this in just a few minutes. But understanding how you ultimately want to get started with video is really, really important, because I get it. Some people are really comfortable in video. I definitely am one of those people. And some people aren't. And I've worked with clients who fall into both categories. And I promise there is still a way that you can use video in your business. It might not be you face-to-face on camera, but we can work up to that, okay? We can work up to that. We can build that confidence over time. So once you kind of determine, do you want to start with video or do you want to use video in your repurposing workflow? Then it's about choosing what type of video that you ultimately want to use. And there are 3 types of videos. So we've got live video format, which is essentially you choosing a topic and saying you're going live and hitting that button and delivering it live. All right, that's the scariest one, I will say. It's hands down the scariest one, but it's probably the most time efficient one. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's one of the reasons that I chose live video, back in the day, because the idea of like writing a script and recording and then the editing and the uploading, that takes a lot of time, right? Editing can take a lot of time. So I didn't have a lot of that time and a lot of those resources in the beginning. And so live video was a great option because I just hit, go live on my phone, delivered the information, and then I was done and it was posted. So live video is fantastic. I will say it doesn't have the same reach that it used to, but there are definitely ways that you can use live video to your benefit, with the specific platforms, or as your audience is growing, you're basically using it as a nurturing tool with them. So for instance, maybe you decide you're going to go live every Tuesday, you send an email to your audience, you post on your socials, whatever, you have a schedule on your website that says, hey, these are the topics, and then your audience knows to expect that. My series was called Mondays with Michelle, and I went live every Monday. So live video is one piece. The second is pre-recorded content. This is an example of pre-recorded content where I'm sitting down, nobody is watching me live, and I'm recording content that essentially will get edited and then uploaded. Now, how much you edit is completely up to you. I am not a heavy editor. I'm like, this is what it is. Take it or leave it. And I think a lot of that comes from my live video background and my experience. So, I think how much you edit really comes down to the resources that you have. And if you don't have the money to invest in an editor, then you can still do pre-recorded video and not heavily edit it. So I just want to give you permission that that's totally available to you. But pre-recorded video, you typically will find YouTube, right? Longer form video on YouTube. You can also obviously post pre-recorded video on, Facebook and Instagram, although it basically just turns into an Instagram reel. Which brings me to the third piece of content, and probably the most popular piece of content, and that's short form video. We all know short form video, although we might not know it as that name, but that's what you watch on Instagram Reels or TikTok or Pinterest idea pins, YouTube Shorts. Those are all short form video. And I will say that short form video is what live video used to be, right? It is where everybody's attention is going. It's where every marketer wants to be, and rightfully so, okay? Short form video is in high demand, and it's performing exceptionally well for these platforms. And that's what I want you to note. Some entrepreneurs do not have crazy success with short form video, and that's okay. If that's you, you're not alone. But the reason we're seeing such a push for it on all the different platforms is because consumers really like it, right? It's short, it's sweet, we can get straight to the point. And because of that, more and more consumers are demanding it, and that's why it feels like every single platform is rolling out short form video. It's the same as AI, right? Like ChatGPT took off, went crazy, and now it's like everything under the sun has some type of AI tool available to us. So when you're thinking of short form video, and we're going to talk about some of the different types of content that you can create for short form video, know that it does not have to just be trends. Know that it does not have to just be about virality. In fact, I don't recommend that it is about virality. You can use short form video in a super strategic way. We recently interviewed my friend Jody on episode 87, where we talked a little bit about short form video and the strategies there. So you can definitely check that out. I also have a previous episode, audio only, episode 51, where I share my short form video strategy from last year and what happened when I accidentally went viral to me. It was a great experience. Love the trolls. So short form video, whether you love it or hate it, I think it's definitely here to stay. So how do we use it to our benefit? That's what I really want to support you with today as well. So what you know, where you're showing up, the type of video that you choose, so much of that really depends on your personality, the resources available to you, your time, and ultimately your priority with your marketing. So I really don't believe that any one person can say like, you have to be here, or you have to be on this platform, or you have to be doing video in this way. In fact, I recommend that you experiment with it and you figure out ways to kind of stack it. You know, I have gone back and forth with pre-recorded video. There'll be seasons where I go really, really heavy with pre-recorded video. Then I might take a step back. I might get back into it. Live video, I like to drip when I'm launching something. So I'll show up live a little bit more, kind of get that energy going, you know, engage my existing community. I'm not using live video as a way to get in front of a bunch of new people. And then short form video obviously is, for me, a way to repurpose my existing content. So I love using short form video as a way to just take my ideas that I have from a blog post or from a previous video and distribute them out on social media. I have clients who use short form video as a huge growth technique, and they love it, and they love tapping into trends, and it works well for them. So that's just, you know, another kind of permission slip that you can make video work for you. But I really believe at the end of the day, every brand and every business needs to be incorporating some form of video into their marketing strategy. What platform you choose, and this is the other thing that I want you to keep in mind, is essential. So if you are using video and you don't want to use a lot of video, then think about those SEO platforms I talk a lot about here at Brandmerry. Think about YouTube, YouTube Shorts, search engine. Think about Pinterest. Pinterest Idea Pins are a great video platform. Again, it's a search engine. Even TikTok, although, you know, whether you like TikTok or not is completely up to you. It's a search engine. And while Instagram and Facebook, they're working on it. They've been working on it for a while. They're not quite search engine optimized. The content tends to go and then die. You want to think about that. That's a huge factor in where you're showing up, your comfort level, and ultimately, you know, how your content is getting distributed. So if video isn't something you're like ready to go all in on, think about platforms that are going to help you optimize the limited content that you do ultimately create. All right, so let's talk about short form video. Inside of Brandmerry Academy last year, I recognized a need for short form video training. And so I created an entire video training on short form video. And there are 4 topics that I teach my clients to utilize to kind of buckets for their video content, to make sure they're not just doing one, but they're really tapping into all of these different options available to them. Because so much of short form video does come down to what's working at the time, right? And it does change quite frequently. So the 4 categories that I love to kind of focus my content creation as it relates to short form video, and I encourage my clients to do as well, are a text overlay B-roll. We'll talk about all of these in just a minute. Quote or a tweet video, trend video, and no, it's not just dancing, mostly audio or a soundbite of some kind, and then a talking head video. Okay. So a text overlay and a B-roll video. That is what we're seeing all over social media right now at the time of this release, all right? And it's important to note that you're going to notice you've seen all of these and probably you'll notice the trends and like when they're doing well and when they dip down and then they'll come up again, all that kind of stuff. So text overlay and B-roll is real hot right now. And it essentially is like lifestyle video that you create. Maybe I do a lot of me gardening or just kind of like doing my thing around the house. You see a lot of entrepreneurs working on their computer, but it can also be like free video that you grab from Canva or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be video you create. And then it has a text overlay on it, right? It's like got a little, color transparency cover and then text on the video. If you really struggle with being on video, this is a fantastic option for you and a great way to get started. Typically, the text overlay will be you're teaching something, you're sharing an insight. It's really great for repurposing content if you've got tips on something or you want to share a snippet from an email that you wrote. You're like, dang, that line was really good. I'm going to put that in a text overlay, okay? You usually want to pair these with a trending audio, which is, of course, different on every platform, and bam, there you go. The second is the quote or the tweet. Now, if you're on Instagram, we see this a lot on Instagram. It's essentially the fake tweet, right? It typically has whatever you said, like in your quote underneath. Now, these work really well just as social media content on Instagram primarily, but you can also use these in video form. You can really use anything in video form, by the way. Even those carousel posts that you might like to create, you can repurpose those into video format. So these can be really helpful if there is a quote that you said in an email or something you've said before, or you're quoting somebody else, and they're super easy. You can make them in Canva. You just put a video in the background, that right on the top, pair it with the trending audio. We had a huge surge of this working last year in 2022. I think it's fizzled down a little bit, but I guarantee you it will come back. It always comes back. It always circles back around. So that is another great option, especially if video isn't something you're super comfortable being face-to-face with. The third one is going to be a trend. So this is typically going to be a trending type of video, whether it's a sound bite, a audio just in general, like a song or something like that, or with the release of CapCut, which is a app that was designed by TikTok, there are all these trending templates. So you might have seen, some with like characters from The Office, or they have Pedro Pascal eating a sandwich, right? Those are all trending templates. And these, while I do not recommend that you build your entire business off of these types of videos, they're really great to kind of work into your strategy because they give you more views, right? They give you that boost that sometimes you need. Here's my disclaimer. Please, please, please always make them apply to your business. Always. Because if you are going to get those views, let's make them the right people for your business. Now, one of my clients, Beautiful One Midwifery, I'm giving them a special shout out. I actually have them on the podcast next month to talk about your menstrual cycle and how it actually plays a role in your time management and your productivity. So such a good episode. I'm so excited to release that. They kill it with short form video, and they do a really great job of creating trending video, but they make it apply to them and their business, whether that's midwifery care, hormone information, just, women's health in general. And so anytime you're doing these types of videos, which can be super easy to create, honestly, make sure they always come back and apply to your business. So you'll notice with these first three, there was an underlying trend kind of topic, and that was the audio. So that is something that you want to keep in mind no matter what platform you're on. It's definitely more prominent on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok than it is on other platforms. But trending audio is a huge thing. And many times on these platforms, it's just like an upward arrow that'll just show you that something is trending, or you're just seeing it on your For You page or your Explore page over and over again. That's a good sign that it's a trending audio. You can plug it in with any of these things that we talked about before. And that leads us to the last type of video, which is my personal favorite because it works the best. And that's talking head video, or think about it as a training video. Now, there's two different ways that you can create these types of videos. One way is you can repurpose existing video content. This is my favorite. We use a tool called Descript, and we will link that in the show notes. But Descript is a paid tool that you can use. You upload your original video, and then you can cut it based on the transcript. So you can be like, oh, that's a really great point. I'm going to highlight that. That's a really great one. I'm going to highlight that. And it'll splice those videos out. You can add titles, captions, all that stuff to it. It's a really great way to repurpose existing content, which of course we talked about a couple weeks ago when it comes to time management with your marketing is so important. So if you have existing video content, that is a great strategy to do. The second is that you just take your phone and you record a talking head video, right? A mini training, something that you want to deliver. It's specifically designed for your ideal customer. It's specifically related to your business and what you provide, much like you would create a YouTube video or a live video or something like that. It's just a lot smaller. Now, these videos have less of a chance of going viral or getting a ton of views, but when they do get you in front of new people, you will notice that your followers go up, more engagement goes up, and we've even noticed that more inquiries come in. So do not overlook the talking head video, because while it might not get you thousands of views, it's going to be the best one for your business, hands down. So look for opportunities to do these, or just do these. That's fine too. It really depends on what you're using these platforms for. I've shared this many times in my business, but I'm not using social media to go viral or to get in front of a new audience. I use search engine platforms like Google to drive traffic to my website, Pinterest, YouTube, different things like that, where the content just lives longer. It's less about the trends and the virality. And so when I am using social media and I'm using short form video on social media, it's about my existing audience. So you can see clearly how a talking head video can be incredibly beneficial in helping move my ideal customer, my audience, through the client buying journey, making them a paying client. So those are the 4 types of categories that I recommend my clients make when it comes to short form video. And as you can see, there's really something here for everyone. And if you're open to it, try a little bit of all the things. Maybe you find one that really works for you for a period of time, run with that. But then of course, understand that everything is based on trends and everything is based on the platforms and the algorithms. You might need to pivot from time to time. I will say number 4, talking head, is going to bring you the best ROI for your business. The biggest thing I want you to keep in mind when it comes to videos, especially short form videos, is it's all about edutainment, right? You are ultimately educating your existing audience. You have a product, you have a service, you have an offer that you sell. So there's an industry that you specialize in, you are an expert in, a problem that you ultimately solve. So you want to make sure that no matter what you're doing, there is some level of education mixed in. But of course, video is entertaining. Whether you're hilarious or, doing crazy edits and stuff, like that's not necessary. If that feels good to you, run with it. Do that. It doesn't feel good to me. It feels stressful to overly edit a video. But what's entertaining is that you're watching another human. Like, it's human to human interaction. And so just know that it doesn't have to be crazy over the top. You don't have to be hilarious. You don't have to have crazy editing. Play with it. If it feels good to you, run with it. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is possible to get started on video without doing all of those things. And I hope that today's episode really gave you an insight on how you can start incorporating video into your marketing strategy. Now, marketing really comes down to a strong content strategy. And so I do encourage you to have a solid system or strategy in place for planning out 90 days of content. This is something that I talk about in my 90-day content blueprint. You can learn more at brandmerry.com/blueprint if you want to get your hands on that training. As always, if this episode was really beneficial to you, please think about sharing it out. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below. I love reading your comments, or feel free to head over to Instagram and connect with me. I'm at Michelle Knight Co. over on Instagram. That's where I love chatting with you, in the DMs. All right, it's all about that relationship like we talked about before. I'll be back with another episode next week. And thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing rest of your week. And let's get out there and make some video.